Greetings, it is I, Susie Q. What's showing up in your field, lighting you up, turning you on, and illuminating the miracles in your field. How amazing is it, right? Okay, so today is going to be another series. It's a life review with no physical ascension, and this is part 7. Part 7 today. And so to explain a little bit about a life review with no physical ascension is sometimes, we look at things like maybe when we recede from the body, when we go back to spirit, sometimes like there's a review and there's no judgment. It's just kind of a review of how you did in this lifetime or any other lifetimes. But what we're looking at right now with this beautiful consciousness across this planet, right? This beautiful, beautiful planet. She's beautiful, right? Is that we get to kind of take a look at things in a different way, and really looking at some of the things that we did that were like, oh God, I was a stinker, or they were a stinker, or whatever, is that we start kind of neutralizing those energies from this present lifetime, right? And so it's a life review with no physical ascension, meaning we have plenty of time. We've got plenty of time, right? To kind of shore up some things and then kind of learn the lessons, kind of look at the life purpose, and then just kind of acknowledging, how amazing you are, no matter if you were doing this or that or whatever, but you're just really continuing to evolve and adapt to newer ways and newer thoughts that might bring more joy as you're moving through your beautiful experience here on planet Earth. So it's super fun. Okay, so I asked a friend, I said, sometimes I love it when like random people give me questions, and it's like fun because it's a pop quiz. So I've already read the questions, but I'm going to read them out loud as well. It's kind of fun to know what's on a person's, what are they thinking about? Like, even though I do the Akashic records and I do quantum healing hypnosis technique, right, QHHT, having a lot of fun doing that and being in the presence of all these beautiful people that come in for sessions. And the Akashic records can be by phone. The QHHT has to be in person. So I'm in sunny Scottsdale. Super fun. Anyway, but that's what we're kind of looking at. So, I have access to a lot of different states of consciousness through all of these different sessions, and I love it when the questions come in. So, all right, so let's see here. So I'm going to read it right here. So what does it feel like when you let things go? What does it feel like when you let things go? Gosh, the first thing I thought about that, what does it feel like when you let things go? It just feels like you got more space. Just feels like you got more space. And in truth, I was always kind of a minimalist. I like to have things kind of clear, and I didn't need a lot of adornment, right, to identify who I am, in the spaces that I've lived in. But yeah, so I think that feeling of spaciousness, look at the space that you have now when you let things go, whether it's thoughts, emotions, or even some of the things, like let's just say you're letting go of some things from the body. Maybe you're releasing some of the parts of us that maybe had some situations in our lifetimes, and then of course we had an emotion related to that, and then that emotion might be stored somewhere in the body. So and when it goes stored in the body, then we got to start kind of clearing that, right? But when you start letting things go quicker, so if there is an emotion that's attached to a relationship or experience with something that wasn't right? We want to keep those good feelings, that sense of love and that sense of compassion and kindness. But sometimes we do get into some like little stuff going on, right? But when we look at the body, even letting go might be releasing some stagnant energy or disharmonious energy. Or I always say that sometimes the cells, the cells are all like going, what are we going to do, Mama? What are we going to do, right? And then sometimes some other cells might kind of show up, maybe in the heart space or in the lungs or maybe in the digestive tract, is that we want those things to let go of. And so when we talk about what does it feel like to let things go, it feels like a breath of life. It feels like perfect, beautiful energies that will start coming in when you create space, when things are starting to let go. It's so easy too. It's so easy to let things go. People are like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can let it go because it's just so bad or so wrong or so creepy or purple or green, right? But then when we start looking at letting go, and it doesn't have to even be something that was like seriously big or bad or anything, but we really want to release it from the body and also from the auric field. Our bodies, we happen to have a body, but we're inside of a gigantic field. We're like source energy, right? We're source energy and it's huge, but we happen to have this little cute body, right? Is that we notice that when we start kind of clearing some things, it creates a little bit more sense of spaciousness. And that spaciousness might even mean, it just means that, I'm clear of that, right? That has been resolved, it's clear, it's good. And even if it was something that's still pressing in your mind or your thoughts or your feelings, emotions, you might just, just kind of, you could even do a sending off, sending it off, right? Because we know a lot of times those emotions get stored in the body. And so when I talk about letting go, it's really about the physicality of our beautiful divinity, our sovereign self, right? So I think that's going to answer that question. All right. So the second one is, do you recommend leaving when life is drastically different? Do you recommend leaving when life is drastically different? Okay, so that was back when I was in Houston. And so I was in Austin for many years, and I was in Houston, and then I made a choice to leave Texas. I still have kids in Texas and stuff, and grandkids in Texas. What does it mean to let things go and to do something different? Sometimes we just need to change our direction, our focus, our location, our awareness. Sometimes when things are shifting so greatly, right, is that we have opportunities to notice, right, that letting go of certain things or certain, of experiences or people or things or whatever it is that it's nice to kind of free yourself and go to another space. So back when I left Houston, I went to Vegas for about 3 or 4 months, and then I came to Arizona. So I was kind of like traveling around, and people were hosting me. It was really nice. And so now I'm in sunny Scottsdale. But yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's safe. And okay, you will be protected. And even with all the traveling I did and all the different places, even in 2019, I was doing a bunch of that. So people were hosting me at their house. And it was really neat. It's really neat when you go into a different place, a different space, a different city, a different way of living. And it was really, really perfect. So I know for a lot of people, they might be shifting where they're going. And it may not be because of something that was bad or wrong. It just means they have a calling to go into another state of being in a different location. And sometimes when we make these changes with letting go, this letting go energy, is that we start noticing that there's more for us to know. There's more for us to see, more for us to experience. So leaving a place kind of drastically, it sounds like drastically, right? It's like drama, right? Here we go, Shakespeare. Okay. But it really wasn't, it was kind of, I guess in a way when I left Texas, it was kind of drastic. It was right after the Hurricane Harvey, and a lot of stuff was a real hot mess. It was a super hot mess. Anyway, but it was really interesting. But when I was in Vegas, I met a bunch of metaphysical people, and I got to, hang out over there for a little bit, and that was pretty fun. I got to meet a lot of people with the UFO communities. I got to meet just a lot of different people like that were really kind of dialed in with healing energies, and met a woman there that was doing the scalar wave energies. So even if that was kind of like a drastic thing going to Vegas, and then but then I had a connection with some really beautiful people that were creating healing energies, and that's kind of what I do. So sometimes we think, oh, it's so scary to do this change and everything, and then you notice, well, I think it's going to be okay. And then I got really dialed in with some new different strategies for helping people feel better in their body. Okay, so the next question is, was leaving Houston, so it's kind of about like leaving your friends. What was it like? I had a support group back in Houston, and a lot of great friends, a lot of great women friends and guy friends and everything like that. And so they were supporting you. So what was I thinking to leave such great support? My family was there, my mom was there, my siblings, a lot of my nieces and nephews were there. My children were in different states, so they weren't in Texas there. But so what I look at it when I look at it now is that when we're, kind of traveling and we're just making choices that are different, right? We're kind of expanding our consciousness. We're going into different geographical areas. And a lot of times, too, when we're called to go to a place, there's possibly some energy there or some synchronicities that may be showing up that is might be driving us to go to these places, or bringing us to these places for us to find more guidance and more illumination of our own beautiful divinity. So it's kind of fun when you kind of look at it. But related to my close friends and my support group, so I had so many precious friends back in Houston, and it felt like it was way more connected than I was in Austin. I was super busy working. I had kids, and I was just super busy back then. And I was still busy back in Houston, but I had more time and more space because kids were grown, and my grandkids are all thriving. They were thriving at that time as well. Is that I just noticed that when we look at the people that were part of our journey, we can still be connected. We still connect. Yesterday, I had an hour long kind of a session or a phone call with a dear friend, and she was a real pivotal player back in Houston for me. I'm still doing the same kind of ontological studies with one of my great guides, Linda Starr. I'm still on the calls every Monday. So even if it's nice to be present, you want to hug them and kiss them and love on them and stuff. We still have opportunities to connect. We've got phones, we've got Zooms, we can do FaceTime on the phone. I do a lot with my grandkids with FaceTime, and we have opportunities to still connect, still be connected. And sometimes you're like, well, I'm not there. I can't really see and experience everything. We're going to experience what we're experiencing. So even if our friends are in another country or another state, or both my kids are, my daughter's in Texas, my son is in Kansas, and so, but we still connect. So when we're leaving different areas, going to a different place, that continuity and that beautiful harmonization and balancing the energies through any of these means that we can connect with is perfect. So I did kind of miss these beautiful groups. A couple of them have come up here, and we go to Sedona. They go to Sedona, and they bring me in to their event. And that's super fun. So I did a couple of those, I think over the fall, with some Sedona groups that were from Houston, that were my buddies, right? So we need to just kind of lean into the energy and just noticing when changes are coming, and the idea of letting go. When we look at the idea of letting go, there's going to be all this remorse and sadness and grief and all of that. No, I don't feel that way. I feel that whatever that you are called to do, whether it's changing your area that you're in, maybe changing some things with your relationships, changing some things with the kind of work that you do, changing anything, changing your hair, my hair is so freaking long. It's like below my waist now. It's so crazy. So this has been a big change for me, but I feel like the energy is suggesting that this hair is good, right? So I'm like, and it's all natural, but changes are going to be coming in. And so the idea of letting go, it's easy. Just think about it like you just had a beautiful glass of water, and you've released it. It's already gone in the body, right? And it's already gone. You're letting that go, right? Or maybe you had a gorgeous meal last night, and then you just ate it and it's gone, and you've let that go, or maybe it was like at nighttime and you could see the moon, and then the moon kind of receded from our vision, right? And then you let that go. So we're letting go of things all the time. We are constantly releasing and letting go of things. But some of the big ones, some of the stinker ones, the traumatic stuff, is where we get kind of snared in that. But even if we had a sandwich on a Tuesday, it's already gone. It's been released, it's already gone. You just look at the simple things about releasing and letting go. It's super easy, right? So sometimes, like, you go to the grocery store, you bought all this food, and then you go in the refrigerator, it's like almost gone. You just let it go. And that's easy. But there's certain points in our consciousness where, like, oh, it's so emotional and so stressful and all this. It's just let it go, baby. Let it go, baby. It's easy to let things go. And the more that you let it go with your beautiful breath of life and your beautiful body, with anything stored anywhere in the body from anything that you are holding on to. I got to grasp and hold it on, right? Is we got to start letting things go, whether it's good or bad. Just let things go and go forward with your beautiful, precious life. So have a great day and namaste.